you're watching this video in January, you have 4 months until your formal exams, and by that I mean your GCSEs, your A-levels, or even your end of year exams that you're wanting to ace. And if you have not been taking school seriously, I am here to tell you that it's not too late to turn things around and get those good grades that you aspire to have. Hi, my name is Priya, and today I am going to be talking about how you can use the next 4 months to absolutely ace your formal exams. Also, remember to like and subscribe and press the post notifications button so you know every time I post a new video. The first thing I want to say is, if you are watching this video right now, you've actually clicked on this video, you are wanting to make a change, and that is such a great place to start. Having that mindset, you need to have the mindset that you want to change in order to be able to change. If you're just constantly thinking, it's too late, what's the point, then you're not going to get anywhere. 4 months is honestly the perfect amount of time to ace your exams because you have enough time to re-look at every single bit of content you have covered. You have time to balance learning, revising and practicing, and you still have time to actually form new habits that are going to make your studying journey a whole lot easier. So let's just get straight into it. I'm going to split this into 4 months because that's what you have, and I'm going to tell you what you can do in each month to get better. So month 1, it is time to master your content. This is going to be the month where you relearn everything. You're not practicing, you simply just take it all in. This is simply just retaining information, making revision materials that you haven't made, such as flashcards, finding good videos to watch before your exams. One thing I'm going to give you advice for is print your specification out and actually go through it bit by bit. It'll take like 20 minutes max, and do the red, amber, green system. This is a system that's very commonly used. I've not made this up myself. You literally, red are for things you absolutely do not know, yellow are for things you need to practice more, and green are for things that you just know. Now, if most of your things are red and amber, you do not need to panic. A lot of people are going to be at this stage in their first month, and so that is where you know you need to focus. Say you're doing chemistry and you've actually nailed down a lot of organic chemistry, but in organic a lot of it's red and amber, you know that you need to just focus on that. Organic chemistry, you know you're going to get those simple marks. You might need to practice a bit, but you really need to focus on actually learning in organic chemistry. So start creating revision sources like flashcards, mind maps, and start reviewing them consistently. This is the part where you can actually start to build habits. Your first month is so crucial into building new habits and keeping them consistent. To form a new habit, you literally need 3 weeks. So if you start on day 1 and keep consistent, and you can form a great habit of studying, planning your revision. If you want to know more about challenges that you can set yourself for 4 months, check out my last video, the 75 hard challenge. So once you actually nail down a lot of the content that you don't know, you can start to transition into the second phase, which I'm going to call month 2, but honestly this can take as long or as little as you want. You obviously don't want it to take the whole 4 months, but if it takes a bit over a month or a bit less than a month, then that's fine. Move on to month 2. If you've learned everything or you still have more to do not hesitate on changing up the plan a bit, but it doesn't have to be rigid, because for me, when things are rigid and I don't get like, you know, certain personal deadlines finished that I've set for myself, I get very anxious. So please don't take this as you have to do this in 1 month, you have to do this in 1 month. You can change it if you want, okay? This is just my 4-month plan. So month 2 is time for active recall. All the content that you've just learned, you're going to start to put it into practice. This is doing questions from the textbook, completing flashcards, spaced repetition. So for maths, for example, it's a subject that you very much have to practice. You're not just born knowing maths. So you could start to do a lot of past paper questions, and honestly, for maths at A-level, a lot of the maths textbooks have great practice questions. And my A-level maths resource for all my A-level maths students out there is Madass Maths. They have created like banks of hundreds of questions that you can use, and there's loads more like that out there, such as physics, maths suited for my science people. So this is the time to actually nail down getting the questions and recognizing what those questions look like. Okay, so for physics, in the example of, let's say, force and momentum, a lot of the questions tend to be the same. It's one car crashing into the other, what's the speed after? Like, I've learned how to do those questions, and I can just do an instant. Like, I know when to spot them and how to do it. But that doesn't apply to just mathematical questions. It very much applies to worded questions. If you can see like a pattern of something and you just know the model answer for it, then you'll be sorted. So this is the time where you need to learn your model answers, practice the questions, and actually, you know, get the answering technique down. Month 3 is honestly going to be Exam practice. This is where you actually start doing past papers, where you see, you know, all your topics come up in one paper. Because one thing you don't actually realize when you're practicing these topics in books, so you just go over electricity for ages, when you go into a paper, electricity would only be like one question. That's an example for physics specifically, but what I'm saying is your topics only may come up once or twice depending on your subject. So actually putting that into practice once you've nailed every single topic will help you actually see what your exams are going to be like, and just constantly practicing will help you ace those exams, as well as learning your timing conditions. Oh my gosh, timing matters so much in exams. If you know that you take a while to do certain topics, make sure to prioritize time to do them, because when it comes to the real thing, if you don't know like your timings, you're just going to run out of time. It's simple as that. You need to, you know, have it sorted out. Also, one thing that's really great is actually being able to look at mark schemes. This is a time where you're going to find out what the examiners actually want from you. A lot of the time you might word something one way, but examiners just won't have it. They'll say ignore. And actually looking at examiners' reports for certain subjects is just so good, especially for essay subjects, because they will literally comment on what people did well and what people did bad on, and like look, might even come with some model answers. Examiners' reports are so underrated and nobody uses them. They're very, very good, a godsend. It'll literally say what the best students did compared to what the worst students did, so you'll know what they want from you from an actual exam. Also, keeping a note of what you actually did wrong. So for example, going through maths, if you get literally a specific question wrong, put it down, like put it in a little file, take a screenshot, put it in a file. This is the time where you can go back to those questions and just blast them out, and literally until you get it right, until your technique is perfect, because that is what you need in those exams. You just need to be able to go with those simple, easy questions. At the start of most exams, they'll have like an easier section, which will be, you know, just simple things that you can see very easily. So like say maths GCSE, it would be like, oh, percentages and probability wouldn't be that hard. But towards the end there's a skill you kind of need there, is being able to spot the problem. Blasting out that easy content, get your technique on point, will make it so easier for your timing, give you so much more time to go through the harder, brain-draining questions. Moving on to month 4, this is the time just before exam season, or even during the start of exam season. This is the time where you polish things off. So say you had mocks, going in again and focusing on the specific targets before your actual exams, just to make sure you have everything under wraps. This is where you're going to see your daily habits, where you like revise for like a certain amount of time every day come into play. It'll become easier for you. You'll just become like, you know, this is my evening routine. First month is honestly one of the hardest, because you're just getting into the swing of things and you're trying not to burn yourself out at the same time. So month before becomes a lot easier, despite the amount of stress that you might have coming in, because honestly during this month you're going to want to prioritize your mental health, because the last thing you want to do is absolutely burn out right before your exams. Like the last thing you want. If you're burnt out during your exams, you are just so exhausted and you know that your brain isn't working properly. Just prioritizing your mental and physical well-being, going on walks, seeing friends as much as you normally would, is something that I would recommend. Obviously not going excessive, having enough time to study, but don't cut off those other aspects of your life just because of exams. If they're the things that keep you happy and healthy, then stick with them. You know, obviously there's a limit to everything. You can't just be like going out with your friends every night during exam week. Not very smart. The night before exams is one of the scariest, but it's actually the night where I get my work done early and go to sleep early. Oh my god guys, you need to be able to sleep. You need to be well rested before your exams, so please don't mess up your sleep schedule because you're studying, because honestly you're just going to be so exhausted during your exams. It's not a good thing that you want. So like I said before, the habits you form of going to bed early, etc, will start to pay off here, because you'll be more well rested, more energized in general, being more eager to actually learn. There are a lot of things that can happen that might, you know, get in the way of your studying. Let's say procrastination, because the concept of having to learn every single bit of content you've done over 1 month seems very intense. But if you actually schedule it properly, then it's a lot more achievable than you think. Again, focusing on the high yield topics, you know, just trying to get it down to the most productive revision as you can. Don't overload yourself with things, because that will just motivate you to not want to do it. Honestly, I'm that type of person where if I see a long list of things, and I'm going to be put off. But if I see a few lists over a few days of little things, I'm going to think that is something I definitely can do. One thing that I see a lot of people doing is actually just doing the easy things. This is, oh, it annoys me because I am such a sucker for this, especially for maths. One thing I'm going to say is do not avoid those harder topics, because if you avoid them, the simple reality is you are going to fail them, especially if they're topics that are worth a lot of marks in your exams. You do not want to be avoiding them. I'm sorry, it's the simple truth. If you just practice, it's fine if you get things wrong. That is one thing I want you guys to know. It's absolutely fine if you get things wrong at first. No one's expecting you to be perfect. You just need to keep pushing until you get it right. It is gonna happen. Everybody has that moment where a topic literally just clicks for them. A lot of people just stop before it happens. I sound like I'm talking about gambling. Like I said, it's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared. That is the thing that matters. You do not have to be doing 4 hours a day right now, because that is just unrealistic. If you prepare efficiently, you will not find yourself having to pull all-nighters before exams. You will find yourself getting a little bit done every day, gradually increasing up towards exams. I'm gonna wrap up the video now. One thing I will say to you guys is print off your syllabuses, find your weakest subjects, and actually scheduling a little time block to revise each of them for say an hour this week. That is my little challenge for you guys to get started on these 4 months. Let me know down below in the comments how you're finding your revision journey, if you're struggling with anything. Remember to like and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you know every time I post a new video. I just want to say also, thank you so much for the reception my last video received. All your comments are so positive and it put me in such a good mood. I'm on like 600 followers right now. That is all as of right now. I'm so happy. It's just been a good week and you guys have really made this a good week for me. So I thank you guys so much. I hope you found this video helpful and I hope you all have a great week and I will see you soon. Bye!